Hi, everyone. I'm Gina Doyle, Senior Product Designer for the Runner Fleet team, and I'm here with Darren. We are kicking off the 16.5 iteration plan for the Runner group today. I'm going to start off with just giving an overview of the Runner Fleet team and what features we'll be taking on for 16.5. So I'll start sharing my screen. All right. So if you want to come look at all the issues, they're in our iteration plan here. But the first one I'll talk about is something that you've probably seen as a trend over the past few milestones is our admin view fleet dashboard feature that we're working on. And it is combined of some starter metrics that we're going to give users. And this should help those platform engineers or infra operators who are managing a large fleet of runners who are self-managed to get a quick visibility or high-level overview of their fleet. This is super exciting for us because we have finally made some really great progress on this wait time to pick up a job chart here, and this is a crucial feature for us to ship as well. So we'll continue to work on getting this graph specifically into the front end and then getting some good documentation of how to actually get this to be set up for an instance. Along with that, like I just said, we'll be working on visualizing those percentiles. We have a specific issue for that because we had so much work that we had to do database-wise to get that information and data in there. We'll also be looking at our runner version updates. So right now we have alerts that tell you that your runner is behind and that you should update it, and we don't allow you to dismiss those alerts. We'll be adding those, we'll be making those dismissible so that if you're on your own time to update those runners, you can just dismiss it, it will be gone. And then finally, from a UX and research side, we are going to continue working on how we provide visibility into runner usage for a fleet of runners. And part of that was an MVC that we worked on in the previous milestone, just for design. And then this is to design a full report that you can look at so that you're not just seeing a small snapshot of it in the dashboard. And those are the key things that we'll be working on for the fleet team. So I will pass it to Darren to talk about Runner Core. Darren, you're muted.
Okay, sorry about that, everyone. I was just saying I'm just going to share my screen. So for Runner Core, just a quick, again, just to quickly level set, our direction page is again the entry point if you want that sort of like 20,000 foot view of the major strategy for Runner Core for FY24. And this strategy, of course, will soon evolve as we start from a GitLab product leadership perspective working on our FY25 plan. But again, you come to our Runner Core direction page, it gives you that high-level overview of the big thematic areas that we're investing in FY24. And so it kind of gives you a sense of the big ticket items we're working on. So as I've said in the last few iterations, the big thing for us to wrap up as we in the sort of the final third, if you will, of this calendar year / fiscal year is really next runner auto scaling. And just to recap, that is the runner auto scaling solution for auto scaling runners on compute instances, specifically public cloud virtual machine instances. And in this section right here, you see we also have a little theme called Kubernetes. So this sometimes gets convoluted, but to be clear, we've got two auto scaling solutions depending on your needs. So if you're an organization that's invested in Kubernetes and you're comfortable with Kubernetes, you absolutely are able to use the runner on Kubernetes, and that's what this is. A lot of our customers are using the runners on public cloud instances, and that's what the next runner auto scaling solution is about. And so for 16.5, we are working right now, that's kind of the big theme we're working on, is moving our new auto scaling solution, specifically what we have called the fleeting plugins for AWS EC2 compute instances, for Google Compute Cloud, and for Azure. So we're working very diligently from moving those plugins, which are currently in experimental, to beta and then to GA. So for 16.5, we may actually roll over the work we're doing for AWS to get that plugin to beta. And then the other goal as well that we want to get to in 16.5 is transitioning our Google Compute plugin from experimental to beta. For folks that may just be looking at this video for the first time, you are absolutely fine kicking tires or testing out the current Next-Runner autoscaling solution and the plugins for AWS, GCP, and Azure. Even though they're experimental, we absolutely encourage you to test it out, to give us feedback, to see if we have things that we need to work on to transition those things to beta, and then finally to GA, which is our goal, is to get it to GA by the time we wrap up GitLab's fiscal Q4, which is in January of next year. So that's the big sort of new feature area we're focused on for Runner Core. The other areas that we are investing in continuously over the last 2 to 3 quarters that I think I've talked about this call is a significant amount of our investment in the core team is on resolving bugs in the environment or in the Runner Core environment. And so that's what you see here is under this section, we have a large number of bugs that we try to work through in every iteration. So bug burn down is a critical part of sort of our strategy to ensure that you can effectively use the runner in your environment for executing CI builds. So that's it for Runner Core in 16.5. The focus is continuing to move those autoscaling plugins from experimental to beta. 16.5, the Google Compute plugin is on deck. We may roll over the AWS plugin. We have some work right now that's still in the flight in terms of some testing that's happening there. So if we don't transition that AWS plugin to beta in 16.4, it will roll over to 16.5 as well. Net goal is, again, get all of those to beta, and then by end of Q4 to transition everything to GA so folks can start adopting this at scale. So back to you, Gina.
Thanks, Darren. So we have a lot of very exciting features we're shipping at this milestone. And as always, thank you so much for the feedback. I know we've met with a lot of customers lately, and we really appreciate your feedback on current features and future roadmap pieces. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to Darren or I.
Okay, have a good one.